Until Sora encounters the Final Fantasy crew, he wanders around Traverse Town in a daze. He doesn't know exactly what happened to his home, Riku, or Kairi, and he's pursued by more and more Heartless as he goes throughout the town. But as he's made aware of the declining number of worlds, increasing number of dark adversaries, and his new role as the Keyblade Master, Sora realizes that his home and maybe even his closest friends may have been lost to the darkness. But those possibilities don't stop Sora from hoping that Riku and Kairi are okay, or from looking for them, especially when given the chance to look for them in more worlds with Donald and Goofy. And if he manages to also find their missing king and save a few worlds along the way, then it's a win-win for everybody. The main thing we take for granted with Sora is that he's written into a typical hero role. He has everything he's known ripped away from him, but he discovers that he possesses the power to stop the evil that took it all away. And with the help of some new allies that he meets on his designated path, they'll eventually defeat the evil and save everyone. The end. But here's the thing, a lot of stories have a period of time where the hero gains some degree of control over the newfound powers, they get cocky, fail, and learn a valuable lesson for the next time, and then they kick ass. That's not exactly the case with Sora. He lost everything, got a giant magical sword key, and told he was the one and only person who could stop the increasing powers of darkness with said giant magic sword key and save everyone. And then set off to do that with Donald and Goofy in less than 24 hours, being forced to learn how to fight real monsters and to master the Keyblade along the way. No failures, only death. Sora's grasp on the responsibilities he's given and how quickly he rises to the occasion is, to me, truly remarkable. He knows he can no longer afford to be lazy. He, as the wielder of the Keyblade, must battle the darkness to save the remaining worlds. He can't be the same Sora that let Riku handle the work, the helpless, homeless victim of the Heartless's rampage, the weak boy that no one expects to be the Keyblade Master. He has to be the strong one, because no one else will do it for him. And he has to be the strong one because he's the only Keyblade wielder to face the darkness. He has to prove himself a hero. It's an extremely important decision that Sora makes in an extremely short amount of time. And Sora adjusts to his role pretty quickly. The first couple of worlds are a bit rough. He tries to help Alice in her unfair trial, only for her to get locked up and kidnapped. Jasmine is also kidnapped under his watch. He gets in a fight with Donald over landing in Deep Jungle, and while they made up, Riku, Kairi, and Mickey are now closer to being found in that world. And he's patronized by Phil, Hercules, and Hades in Olympus until the Hercules Cup. But even with those setbacks, Sora carries on, taking in the victories big and small. Two small victories come from Riku's appearance in Traverse Town. The first is just knowing that Riku was okay. And since Sora knew that Riku could handle himself, he knew he didn't need to worry about him as much as he needed to worry about Kairi now. He also chooses to see this meeting as a good sign for fighting Kairi. The second is Sora showing off his skills when Riku let his guard down after falling back into his role of trying to do all the work. Sora, now used to taking on more responsibilities, shows Riku that this time he doesn't have to do everything. He chooses not to fall back into his role as the lazy bum. While great for Sora, I think this added more incentive to Riku's alliance with Maleficent. With Sora more responsible and competent, and with a new set of friends, Riku might have felt that he didn't have a purpose anymore. Sora didn't need him anymore, so all he had left was Kairi. So Riku goes off to smell the darkness and help Maleficent gather the Princesses of Heart. This puts him in Sora's path twice more before Hollow Bastion. The first is when he tries to take Pinocchio to learn from him how to restore Kairi's heart. He still tries to get him and Sora to work together, but his treatment of Pinocchio as simply an object worries Sora. At that point, Sora probably thought that Riku was using the darkness, but didn't say anything. All he knew was that the way Riku was acting was going to lead him and others into trouble. The second is Neverland, where Riku both shows Kairi and his new dark powers. Both in Monstro and in Neverland, Sora tries to talk some sense into Riku about his actions. By Neverland, Sora has seen so many users of the darkness get swallowed, and he doesn't want to see that happen to his best friend. Both talks are pretty blunt. In Monstro, Sora said Riku didn't have a conscience, and in Neverland, he called him out for being the dumb shit that he was. Riku calls out Sora's actions in both visits as well. Riku seems to think that Sora is just messing around with Donald and Goofy, showing off the Keyblade, and doesn't care about finding him or Kairi. Sora never gets the counter, but we know that Sora wanted to explain to Riku how much responsibility he had now. He had to defeat the Heartless, he had to seal the keyholes, he had to look out for a lot of other people. We also know that Sora was looking for his friends in every world he went to. He grasped at every straw he could get, and while he didn't get anywhere, he didn't give up hope. Riku either didn't understand that, or chose not to. I think he chose not to because he still felt betrayed. And going back to the purpose thing from earlier, Riku appeared to continue trying to fill his role of handling everything by finding Kairi by any means necessary. And because he succeeded, he tried to make Sora feel bad for not helping, for not doing quote-unquote his part. This obviously made Riku feel better and more powerful. And power is what Riku wanted since he was little, but he's not using it to protect all of his friends. The end of Neverland and the third visit to Traverse Town shows Sora in a funk. He's been betrayed by his best friend, Kairi is comatose, and no sign of Mickey has been found. He's understandably frustrated, worried, and sad. But Donald and Goofy remind Sora that he has just to keep on believing in something. Donald and Goofy show their belief in finding Mickey by following the Keyblade. And with theirs and Kairi's help, Sora starts to believe in himself. He's fought enough baddies to believe that he can stop Maleficent. He believes he's strong enough to face Riku and maybe talk some sense into him. And he believes that he can save Kairi. Now, it's important to point all of this out because literally 1 minute into Hollow Bastion, Sora has all of this ripped away from him. Riku realizes that he's the rightful owner of the Kingdom Key and takes it away from him, and then Donald and Goofy leave Sora behind to follow the Keyblade like Mickey told them to. Despite all the strength that Sora has accumulated, the belief in himself, it just wasn't enough. But seeing Beast's determination to find Belle, Sora realizes that he can't give up. He's gotta find Kairi even if it means going through his friends. And in one of my favorite moments in the Kingdom Hearts series, Sora gets ready to face Riku, Maleficent, and the Heartless with only the wooden sword. He doesn't have to go very far before encountering Riku again, who's now ready to take Sora down if he doesn't give up. The thing is though, Sora doesn't fight back. He admits that he might not be strong enough physically to defeat Riku. He doesn't believe in his own strength, but he believes in the strength of his friends. No matter what happens, they'll keep his heart alive. Sora's faith is rewarded when Donald and Goofy return to his side, leaving just the issue of the Keyblade. The bond and belief Sora had with his friends proved that Sora's heart, not his body, was stronger than Riku's. This proof returned the Keyblade to Sora, and that was when he was truly chosen by the Keyblade. The title of Keyblade Master has changed from its meaning in the first game. Originally it meant the Keyblade's master, not a master at using the Keyblade. And I get a little annoyed at this change, because in this moment I felt that Sora became the Keyblade Master, not just a Keyblade Master. Sora was not past the power like Riku was. He was given the power by holding Ben's heart, but he wasn't formally chosen. Sora may have gotten the Kingdom Key by accident, but when he fought with it, and in Hollow Bastion for it, Sora earned the right to wield it. No one has earned that power more than Sora. Now if Yensid could realize that, that would be great. Now for the scene that has so much to talk about, Sora's sacrifice. Continuing with the belief topic, we see that Sora's belief in his friends is his reasoning for being okay with using the Keyblade of people's hearts on himself to free Kairi's heart. He even says this in the manga, as long as you two are around, there will be a way. What this exactly means is unclear. Probably there'll be a way to bring Sora back, which at this time in Kingdom Hearts lore seemed impossible. But for sure Sora knew that Donald and Goofy would keep Kairi safe. As a short tangent, gameplay-wise, I love this section. I loved playing as a Heartless, even if it was short and you couldn't phase it to the ground. While not pertinent to Sora's character, it does heavily tie into later events, and anyone not caught up or unclear on what exactly happens might want to know. I will be explaining the creation of Roxas and Naminé to anyone not clear on their unique existences. Let's start with Naminé. Even though Kairi's body was never consumed by the darkness when her heart was attacked and left it, Naminé is her nobody. The explanation for this can be found in the secret Ansem reports in Kingdom Hearts 2. Naminé is made from Kairi's heart, but from Sora's body and soul. A body and soul containing Kairi's heart left the realm of light. Therefore, the conditions of a creation of a nobody were met, and Naminé was born. Being the nobody of a princess of heart and born from Sora's body and soul, Naminé possesses special powers over Sora's memories, and the memories of those connected to Sora. And according to the secret Ansem reports, unlike most nobodies, Naminé wasn't born with Kairi's memories, but seems to have them in Chain of Memories days in Kingdom Hearts 2. No explanation is given for this, so I assume she learned everything by going through Sora's memories before his arrival in Castle Oblivion. The last two oddities about Naminé are due to her appearance, specifically her blonde hair and her birth in Castle Oblivion, not Twilight Town. I speculate that both are attributed to Ventus, whose heart was still in Sora's body when he became a Heartless, and whose body was in Castle Oblivion. Speaking of Ven's influence, it's most apparent in Roxas. Sora's discarded body still had Ven's heart in it, so when it reappeared in the realm between, aka Twilight Town, it took on Ven's appearance. Somewhere there's a thing that says in the Kingdom Hearts universe, the heart shapes the body, which is why even though Roxas is Sora's nobody, he has Ven's heart and appearance. Roxas was also born without memories due to Sora's short time as a Heartless. He gets them after Chain of Memories, but does not know that they come from his original self. Roxas, due to being the nobody of a Keyblade wielder, can use the Keyblade, and due to Ven's heart, he can conjure a second one and dual wield. Equally, due to Ven's heart, Roxas is able to feel emotions from his birth, or at least showed feeling them quicker than other nobodies. And by the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, he's grown his own heart, being the only nobody known to have two hearts. I stress that Roxas is not Ventus! Roxas is Sora's discarded body with Ven's heart in it. Circling back to the moment that Sora turned himself into a Heartless, we're going to talk about the uniqueness of his time as a Heartless. Because Sora intentionally turned himself into a Heartless, he retained his sense of self and his memories. This is indicated gameplay-wise as being able to control Sora's Heartless. Story-wise, by several members of Organization 13, Sora himself and Calm, and Ansem the Wise. In Kingdom Hearts 1, he said he was beginning to forget. This was retconned, but I'm going to go with that if Sora had spent a longer amount of time as a Heartless, he would have completely forgotten. Because of the minimal darkness in his heart, Sora becomes a Shadow, the weakest of Heartless. And when Kairi saves Sora, she only returns his heart from the darkness, but her powers give Sora's heart a physical form. So from this point until the end of Roxas' story in Kingdom Hearts 2, Sora is actually just a walking heart. And here's where an interesting similarity is seen. Xehanort also intentionally reduced himself to just a heart, and his heartless Ansem retained his memories and sense of self. It wasn't until he possessed Riku that he gained a physical appearance, but that's a point we'll be looking into later. Bringing back the belief motif, we see a lot of it being directed towards Sora in Traverse Town Visit 3. Kairi believes that Sora will return to her when Riku is found and Ansem is defeated. Donald and Goofy believe that they and Sora will be okay even if the outcome of the final battle is unclear. The princesses believe in Sora's strength as the Keyblade Master in restoring the worlds, and the Final Fantasy crew believe in Sora's strength and his determination to save Riku and Mickey. It's remarkable to compare Leon's belief from beginning and end game. He went from thinking that the worlds were doomed just because the Keyblade chose a kid, to being absolutely sure that Sora would save Riku. Sora has proved himself a hero in the eyes of many. With Ansem's defeat and Riku and Mickey locked in the realm of darkness, while it didn't seem like it, Sora had a choice to make. He could return to the islands with Kairi, or look for Riku and help in the search for Mickey. And with the worlds returning, he had to make his decision fast. I imagine it wasn't easy. Of course he had to find Riku, but he had no idea if he could, and therefore had no idea if or when he'd ever see Kairi or his home again. But he chooses to go with Donald and Goofy, saying goodbye to Kairi as she returns to the islands where she'll be safe. However, they have no leads, only to look for the door to light, which they only have the king's word that it exists. But they gotta believe that they'll find their friends. It's all they have to go on until Pluto arrives with a note from the king. Sora, Donald, and Goofy follow their only lead, putting them on the path of new enemies.